is Friday, February 18th of 2022. Cold morning again. It's cloudy, small flourishing of snow. Man, yesterday was cold. Even though it was 60, but it felt cold. Also very, very windy. Weather was saying a 20 plus miles an hour winds and rain, man. It was quite a day yesterday. I do apologize. I have my hoodie on because that wind did a piece on me, and woke up with. I came home with a headache, but woke up with a huge headache this morning. Had to take some painkillers. Wasn't sure if it's gonna be going out, but I'm like, okay, let's see how the roads are. Interesting how it was raining all day, and it's 9:20 right now, or 9:17, and the roads are, I would say, 80% dry. The areas where cars don't drive, it's kind of wet and slippery, but overall it's dry. So yeah. Now the topic, as you guys know, of this week is talking about the Fair to All app, the app that I'm thinking of launching, the app that you guys can actually go back, and I did a video about it on Sunday, showing how it works. And we talked about on Monday the customer side. I believe on Wednesday we talked about the restaurant side. I wish I could be doing this from my computer and kind of, focus more on the conversation than on the road. But it is what it is. And today we're going to be talking about drivers. First of all, if you look at what's going on in the market, drivers usually like to drive with one app. They got that app works for them, and they're not willing to go and add another app to their driving experience. Now we do have a few of us that multi-app, and we will use 2, 3, 4 apps to achieve our results. So, will drivers welcome a new app? Probably the few of us will. Now let's talk on the cons of Fair to All app. As I mentioned before, and price is not written in stone, that means you guys can try to give me a good reason why price should be different, and I'll put that into consideration. But I'm talking about $7 base pay for the first 3 miles. Then $2 a mile for every mile above the 3 miles. So now the negative side is miles will only count from restaurant to customer. So driver getting to the restaurant, mileage are not covered. That is part of your business expense, and it is because otherwise I doubt customers be willing to cover that, especially when customer doesn't even know how far you're going to be. And then he lives a mile away, but you're 10 miles from the restaurant. Will customer want to cover that 10 miles? Probably not. So that's number one that is negative about the Fair to All is mileage to restaurant not covered. But in exchange, you do have a very nice base pay of $7 that in most other places they don't they don't pay you that good. Especially at Doordash, $2.25. That's your base pay. So that's negative one. That's first negative. Second negative is until we're able to make enough money to update the app and do changes to the app will not show how many miles to the restaurant, how many miles from restaurant to the customer. You're only going to get an alert. Where is the restaurant and where is the customer, and that's about it. You guys can go back and watch the video and see what kind of alert it is, but unless I misunderstand something, that's about all you'll see. So that's a negative too, because we all used to, especially in food delivery, to see how much we're getting paid, to see how many miles, and all of that stuff. And on this, unfortunately, not going to be available in first stage. But you will know that mileage based on Google calculation, mileage from restaurant to customer will be calculated, and you will receive based on the mileage, because that is how we going to charge the customer, is based on those mileage. So that's it. Then you will also receive on top of that a tip, as long as customer be willing to tip. Now, let's do some math. Let's say at Doordash they place a $15 order, and restaurant inflates the price of the food to cover the 30% that they have to pay to Doordash. So that $15 now is a $20 order. Now that $20, then Doordash is add another 18% app fee, which is another $4. Right now that order is $24. We're not, taxes $26. We're not going to include any other fees, delivery fees, or any other stuff. Let's say they have a that monthly pass, so $26. On the $26, you kind of wonder why on a $15 customer doesn't want to give you any tip anymore. Yes, there's customers that do, but majority, they just don't feel it is fair. They're already getting almost double the price paying for the food. Now, let's say on our app, restaurants will pay between 5 to 8%. Still, that is something, because also there's a credit card transaction fee of 3%. So, kind of, debating charging. We have to charge the restaurants on the 3% card, so it's going to be 5% plus the card fee. So I guess 8% is what restaurant is going to pay. So let's look at this math now. We have a $15 order, and restaurants, you know what? We're going to upcharge a 8% or 5% for that food. So it's gonna, let's say it's gonna go to $16. We do not have any app fee to a customer, so it's gonna be $16 plus a $7 delivery fee. So 16 plus 7, that's $13. That's $23. Right now we're having a difference of 23 to 26. There's $3 difference. Is it possible that you know what? I'm saving money here on the food. I might as well throw that $3 extra to the driver. So right now, where Doordash you would have had a $2.25 delivery, right now you're having 7 plus 3 $10 delivery. So that's just kind of where I'm seeing now. Third, I don't see a point bringing in hundreds of and thousands of drivers. And second, I do not want drivers that have an employee mentality. So that is also a negative part. Less drivers, that means there'll be more orders, but that also more deliveries, but that also means you will have to travel bigger distance between restaurant and where you're at to do that delivery. So that's another negative part. Now, positive parts, as we already mentioned, better pay. Um, Quite a few drivers that are the employee mentality drivers that do not that are taking the $2, $3, $4 orders. They're excited with a better payout. Now, when I ran a couple months ago a question on Pedro's Sunday Live, a lot of drivers responded they would not take a $6 base pay order plus $2 a mile, $2 additional per mile. And I'm kind of, debating even myself, how much would I take? Because it is a $7 guaranteed delivery, right? But is there going to be that tip? And unless we test and see, will we see? Especially since, I'm the one of the drivers that I do stack orders. I'm multi-app, multi-stack, and multi-apps. So it kind of, becomes a question, will drivers do? Here's another reasons why I do not want this employee mentality drivers on the platform. Because they do not have the proper equipment. They do not have catering bags. They don't have pizza bags. They do not have the necessary equipment to make sure that food is stays warm until it reaches its destination and customers enjoys it. So that's one of the other reasons why I have a problem with that. But I just wanted to say something. Just came and left. But those drivers that we are taking our delivery business seriously, we do have those equipment, and those equipment that drivers with those equipment is what actually interest. Now I have been thinking yesterday about Doordash in 2016 when I did some deliveries for them back then. They were a great company. They worked only with the restaurants. They didn't work with the fast foods. When a customer placed an order, we did not have these drinks that we have right now, that being filled drinks. Drivers carried bottled drinks. I don't know, the 16, 18, or 20 ounce, those bottled drinks. And when a customer ordered food and he ordered a drink, we had to carry a certain amount, and we did not have enough to provide to a customer. Then we just dropped by the store, picked one up, and then we got reimbursed at the end of the day, as well as we got refilled with certain amount of drinks for the next day. So there was no question, fill it, no fill it, or any of that. Also, thing that drivers will. There's another positive part. Drivers will not be held to a strict 10, 15, 20, or 30-minute delivery. Driver will take a responsibility of that food, and his responsibility is to deliver food in a safe, in the same form, with all of its order content having snow getting heavier here, and the roads are getting not as dry. So we're having and delivering that food to a customer, and if there's an issue, it's driver's responsibility to resolve that issue between the customer and the restaurant and make sure that customer satisfied, since we will run food side, the restaurant side separate, and delivery separate. So delivery side is going to be driver's business and driver's responsibility. So when driver shows up to restaurant, he will accept food and he'll accept responsibility with the quantities and everything as it is on the app with customer order. That's why bags will not be sealed at restaurant until restaurant helps driver verify that's everything there, and then the bags will be sealed at that point by driver preferably, and then get it delivered. So that's kind of approach to reduce the amount of missing food, where we don't have to say, oh, food was stolen, whatever. Hey, driver decides he wants to take the french fries. Now he has to come up with the french fries to deliver to the customer. Or driver doesn't verify and there is no french fries in the order. Now driver took that responsibility, verifying that since he failed to do so, now it's he's responsible to figure out between him and the restaurant how they're going to resolve it. They're going to credit the customer, or they're going to try to redeliver, or whatever the situation is. What else I can cover on the driver's side? Kind of, guys, thinking as I'm driving. So, the bottom line question is, and also here's another part. I prefer, and when I say prefer, I really mean it. I really want to run this direction instead of any other direction. Is where I have a representative in each area, where we have a contractual agreement between the Fair to All and the representative, where he takes on the responsibility of that area for the restaurants, for the drivers, for bringing drivers on board, where those drivers are ran under, and him having opened up a business name and run, fully do whatever it takes, and everything run through that representative. Of course, there'll be commissions, or I would say not commissions, resale rights that he'll be able to make on, as well as resale of the deliveries he'll be able to make money on. He'll be able to make a choice. Does he treat drivers as employees or contractors in his area? And if he runs employees, then he'll need to do everything that and employ those employees. If he runs contractors, then he'll be having a contract, have contract, you'll have to sign with those drivers. So allowing the company to have barely any expenses, and remove all, and have area representatives. That's not sure even the right legal name is, but having that person that runs that area under contract, take deals with issues that might arise in the area, and all that stuff. I have not thought through the legal side of all these things yet, but that's kind of where I would like to see this go. This will allow these drivers that are taking their business seriously. So why don't I, instead of right now driving, why don't I right now have my own business, food delivery, under this Fair to All app, where I have my own restaurants, I have my own drivers, and make everything happen, and everything falls under one location, because it'd be a lot easier to run it that way. Then we compete on the locals level. We do not compete on the national level, as well as able local guys be able to have a living and earning that they deserve as well. So that is another kind of a thing that I'm looking at towards that part as well. In Lexington, there's cracks in the clouds. Might actually have some sun over there. So just kind of various different things here that I wanted to cover. But at the end of the day, I want to hear feedback. Where do the drivers stand? Do drivers see interest in something like this? Do drivers interested in actually a better base pay? And of course, there will be some customers that will pay nicely on the tip, because they'll understand that right now the needs of the driver is covered nicely in a base pay, but driver did provide that nice service, and he deserves that extra bonus on top. I probably have missed a few things, so please definitely comment. Let me know where you stand, where you're looking at, because if we need to launch this, we need to launch this soon. If we're not gonna do this, personally, I'm not sure if I want my own app just for myself. But if I'm not gonna do this here in the near future, and I'm not gonna come up with anything else to do besides food delivery, delivering food for Doordash and Grubhub and Uber Eats, I probably want to go into buy this app for myself, launch it in my area when I get back from West Coast, and maybe slowly expand that way. I have no clue. I also consider maybe doing that on the Square side, and don't spend that five to 10 grand. I'm not sure, but Definitely, drop something in the comment. Any questions? Where do you see yourself standing? Definitely, would like to know where, kind of where I'm going with this. Appreciate it, and thank you for watching.